I had ACL and MCL reconstruction surgery 3 months ago. And here's my journey so far. I wanted to share this with you because on my journey, and I'm still on the journey, but on my journey prior to surgery, I watched a ton of videos and they were extremely helpful and just very relatable in terms of just starting and going into the process because, of course, it's a scary process getting under the knife and getting this type of surgery done. But here's a little bit of my story going into it. So I tore my ACL and MCL, my left to be exact, about 5 years ago. So it's 2024, and my surgery was on September 3rd of 2024. I had the accident in February of 2019. And you're probably asking why I took so long to take care of it. And to be honest, it's, the stupidness of me. I would have just took it as a thing that I, kind of just hurt. And then because I was able to walk, not in the best shape, I was able to eventually walk again. I kind of forgot about it or left it alone. And so kept pushing. And the accident happened because I was playing basketball, pretty intense game, but I got kicked in the air. And when I got kicked in the air, I lost all of the stability on the way down, and my left knee just completely snapped. It was like a Mortal Kombat sound. Literally, it was like that cracking sound that you hear when you play Mortal Kombat. And so it was extremely painful. It was very difficult to walk after that. Wasn't walking normally for at least, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks or so. And then I was just elevating and icing. Wasn't educated enough. I got an x-ray. Was supposed to get a MRI, but all I got was an x-ray, and the doctor's office that I went to wasn't so great. Long story short, I never truly got diagnosed for a ruptured ACL and MCL. And it's just so crazy because you can still walk after, initial kind of pain goes away and the initial swelling. And I eventually got back to playing basketball, but I realized how limited I was. And so second kid is almost here. And I said, you know what, I really want to take care of this because the pain is excruciating. And then I get an MRI. The doctor asked me why did I wait so long to get this taken care of, and he was just wondering how I even, going this far, right? It's crazy how the human body works. You can kind of keep going despite certain injuries. And yes, eventually I opt for the surgery for ACL and MCL reconstruction. And right now it's December 15th. The surgery was back on September 3rd. And so the surgery itself went great. I believe the surgery was about an hour and a half. And, you're on meds. As soon as you wake up, you're on the meds. And you are, you don't anything. You don't really feel anything. You can feel a bit, but you don't feel like the actual pain that you're under, at least in that moment. And so, believe it or not, I started physical therapy the very next day. So in less than 24 hours, I was already in physical therapy. And that's because every doctor is different. I know some friends that waited a week to go to physical therapy, but I the very next day based off of my doctor's recommendation. And honestly, it wasn't bad at all. And that's because I think the meds were still right. And so that was day one, I went to physical therapy. So I elevated, I iced, and everything was all good. And then I think day 3 or day 4 was probably the most painful day, right? So day 3 and day 4 were, were at the highest. It was like very, tough to cope. Yes, I had meds, but you had to stay on top of the meds, of course. And that's really the trick, staying on top of the meds so that the pain doesn't catch up to you. And so I would say that within a couple of weeks, it got to a point where I was, feeling like crutches, where I was kind of like on space where I did both crutches by the second week, I would say. I was on one crutch. I think by the third week, I was tons of PT, elevating and icing and that kind of stuff. And so it was pretty. It felt really good to start walking again, but I still really wasn't walking to a where I'm walk down the street. I can walk from here to there, like to the living room, and then I'll kind of need to sit down and stuff like that. But it wasn't like I can now go for a walk at the park and stuff like that. It's more so that you can, be on 2 feet. And so around the 4 to 6 week mark, completely, was able to start walking like normal, but breaks. I was actually driving right away. I drove myself to PT, believe it or not. It wasn't, the best thing, and I'm not sure if I recommend it, but I drove to PT, and yeah, so I wanted to make this video to share my journey. I'm still on the journey, and I hope to make more videos. But if you're watching this, if your surgery date is coming, don't be afraid. It's really not bad as long as you follow your, everything the doctor is suggesting in terms of physical therapy, in terms of the meds, and your icing and that kind of stuff. If you are undecided about it, I would say go for it, because if you let your surgery, if your injury sort of just linger, then you're going to put yourself in a position in the long term. So I waited 5 years to take care of it. And I believe as a result of it, I have some early arthritis going on right now. So that's not fun at all. And so that's just an example of, what can, if you just let it linger and you don't take care of it. How I managed to go 5 years, I'm not sure, but I'm honestly, to just the fascination of the body, I guess. We really are like machines in a way. We're fragile, but at the same time, we're like machines. How do you know if you ruptured your ACL or MCL? You're talking about, you're trying to play sports and you just feel a big instability, or sometimes you play sports and there's some jumping involved and you kind of feel the feeling you felt when you first ruptured it. Now, and it doesn't have to be like this exaggerated crack, but kind of like the bones in your knees, kind of like explain. But that happened to me tons of times because I still continue to play basketball. I love basketball to death, and once I would start walking and running again, I started doing it. But if your knee swells up, then you definitely want to get that checked out. If you feel that instability, if you feel like you can't really run like you maybe used to, then yeah, get that checked out. That, maybe you ruptured something. So fast forward to today, I'm doing physical therapy. I was doing physical therapy about 2 to 3 times a week. And then I kind of got lazy and kind of just up and down slope, I'll be honest. And I fell off the wagon twice. So there were about two weeks that I should have, been in, but I didn't. So, but fast forward to today, I can walk. I'm exercising a whole ton. My knee feels amazing, but the meniscus part kind of is still, I guess, still recovering, because really it just got like cleaned up. The reconstructed like additionally, it doesn't get reconstructed like the ACL does. My ACL feels amazing, and I'm glad I did it. The MCL feels good too. There's times where I, forgot surgery because it feels so good, but then there's times where it's like either the cold or like I'm going up and I'm still, kind of fat. That effect of surgery. But I don't regret it at all, and I highly suggest that you guys get checked out if you need to. But I'm exercising in physical therapy, but I'm also exercising. I'm back in the gym. Great feeling to be back in the gym. You awkward, and you definitely are in your head a lot when you working your way back into the gym. But it's your journey, and so A lot of workouts we're doing are like leg presses, RDLs, squats. One step up is like some of the workouts are walking backwards, sometimes even blindfolded to get that balance. A lot of balance work. So, you get balance back in order. Maybe in the next video I'll have a more complete list of exercises, but you basically just get your lower body back in order. So there's a lot of strength and mobility exercises that you need to do in physical therapy. They actually make you do physical therapy prior to the surgery because having the strength leading into the surgery will help you post surgery, right? So if you have like a super strong body and core, that's gonna help you big time. And I never had like a crazy lower body, but I had I work more consistently, right? So 2 to 3 days a week, I walk a lot, bike a lot, and I had muscles down there. So that definitely helped me post surgery, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why it wasn't that bad for me, at least. Yeah. So make sure your squats, your leg presses, your leg curls, leg extensions, and stuff like that, because that's gonna go a long, long way after surgery. And interestingly enough, you can't do leg extensions during physical therapy. Funny enough. So that's really it, guys. If you like and enjoyed this video, if you found this helpful at all, please leave a comment, hit that like button and subscribe button for me. This is my 3-month recap, so I'm going to make perhaps a 4-month, 5-month recap for you guys. And I look forward to connecting with more of you guys that are on the journey of ACL and MCL surgery. And so I hope you guys found this helpful. I appreciate you guys. If you made it this far, thank you so much. And until next time, later.